peeps? How you doing? 1,000 subscribers. What?
Celebrate good times, come on.
We gon' celebrate. But we'll talk more about celebrating at the end of this video, because in this episode, we're taking this 20-gallon freshwater tank and customizing it to look like this. So this tank was purchased over a year ago now, when we were still in the planning stages of the whole Vanbuild, and was purchased strictly because of its dimensions, 32 by 12 by 12, which ended up fitting perfectly underneath the driver's side of the van, right below where our shower is gonna be. So I made the purchase right then and there and figured, heck, we'll figure out how to customize it when that time comes to become a gray water tank. And well, that time is right now, my friends. I will tell you, if you're not into a custom solution, you can buy mounting kits for these tanks up underneath the Sprinter vans, Transits, and ProMasters, but they're like $1,000 for a mounting kit. It's insanely priced. So for us, I decided that I'm just gonna use some galvanized steel, angled steel, as well as some 3/8 ready rod with nuts on the other end, and we're gonna make this so it mounts up underneath there for less than $100. That's the cool part about this. So what we did is I bought these galvanized angled strips in 6-foot sections. So we just cut them in our miter saw like everything else we've cut with our steel blade. And you'll see one fits right up on the top and one fits right down on the bottom. So what we've done is we've marked out our holes where our ready rod's gonna go through, and we just take one, put it through the bottom, put it on the bottom of our tank, and we take the other one and we put it up top. And now our ready rod that we have, which is just standard 3/8 ready rod, and we'll just feed our ready rod right down through the hole that we marked, down through the bottom, and now it's all locked in place. But as you see, this is galvanized steel on the plastic PVC. So in case there is any vibration there, we're taking some of that rubber that we bought, that we did for the thermal break on our framing, and we're gonna take it and cut it into slats so that it fits underneath this galvanized steel, and that way it gives it a nice soft cushion, as well as ensures that we're not gonna get any wear between the steel framing and that PVC tank. So on our rubber matting that we got, okay, you'll see we've marked the spots. We have the top body side marked out, top frame side, bottom, bottom. We've cut one piece for the top underneath that bracket, one piece for the side top underneath that bracket, and we'll replicate that on the bottom. And then we have the face strips, which are gonna come down the face here, and that's where our ready rod's gonna be. So to attach these to the tank, we're gonna use our heavy duty spray adhesive again. We're gonna spray it on the tank, as well as on the rubber, let it get tacky, adhere it down. That shit sticks good. And once it dries, that is not going anywhere. So now we're just gonna do that to all 4 sides. Well, it's a cube, but it looks like this. And boom, see? It looks just like that. So we have the bottom all covered off. We got all the sides covered, as well as where our ready rod is gonna come down. So now we gotta figure out the plumbing for this tank. And that's installing our drain so we can get the water out of the tank, as well as installing the fill or the shower drain that's gonna fill the tank. And because these tanks were made for fresh water, not necessarily gray water, they were pre-plumbed, but not necessarily to hook up to a drain from a shower. So when you purchase this tank, it does come with some hoses and accessories. It comes with this first big hose, which goes to the inlet tube of the tank, and it comes with a couple of fittings that go into the bottom drain, as well as that top breather, as well as it comes with some clear tubing. But none of those pieces work for the application that we're doing, which is a gray water tank. So I'm gonna show you what I did as a custom fit. Now for the drain, to get this out, this is a 3/8 threaded hole that's already in the tank, and these are the parts I'm gonna use for it. So we're gonna need some Teflon tape, a 3/8 threaded adapter, a ball valve for 3/8 thread. As you can see, it closes and it opens. We'll need a 90-degree bend with 3/8 threads on either side, as well as a 3-inch extension pipe so we can go from our drain out to the side so it'll be easily accessible without having to get right underneath the van to open that up to drain it out. So we'll take our Teflon tape and we'll just wrap a thin layer around the complete threads of this adapter. Doesn't have to be super thick, just enough to cover the threads. and then we thread it into the hole that's already in the tank. Once that piece is in and tight, we'll take our 90-degree bend and we'll thread that on. And we'll make it nice and tight until it turns the direction we want it to go. So now that's in. Then we'll take our extension pipe, wrap it again, thread it into the hole. Just like that. So then on our final threads, and then we thread on our ball valve. And there she is. We now have an operating ball valve for a drain out of our tank. We made that look pretty simple, didn't we? We won't talk about how many trips back and forth to the hardware store I took to figure that out. And hopefully all of it's available on Amazon, so I can link it down below, which makes your job super, super easy because you watched this video. So next up, we need to install a piping onto our 1.25 inch fill that's going to attach to this 1.5 inch down pipe that we put in with our shower drain. So the parts we purchased for that is an 1.5 inch P-trap. Now a P-trap means when the water drains in, it goes out into your tank, but when no water's running, it's gonna sit a little bit of water inside that P-trap so that none of the gases from the tank come back up through your shower drain and make your van all stinky. We also bought one because we have a 4-season van that has a drain in the bottom of the P-trap. So if it's -30 outside and we wanted to have a shower, we just take that drain off and now it'll drain out of the shower and straight down through here and avoid going in the tank at all, so nothing's gonna freeze. Now to mount this 1.5 inch P-trap to our 1.5 inch down pipe, we got this, what it's, I guess like a compression fitting, in which has this little seal inside there. It just slides right into there, and then you'll tighten this down to that 1.5 inch pipe, holding it nice and tight so it's not gonna leak out, and the water will be able to follow the P-trap. On the other side, where we mount to the tank, now I did mention this is 1.5 inch pipe, and our tank is 1.25 inch inlet. So after lots of searching, this is what I came up with. Now first off, I have to put a 45-degree angle in, just so that when we come off that tank and to mount up to that down pipe, we get just the right bend. And we got lucky in the fact that this 45-degree angle did perfect. Like it, wait till you see how well this matches up. Now to go to that 1.25 inch, this is a reducer bushing. So it's 1.5 inch on this side, which slides into there. And this part here is 1.25 inch, which is tightened down again to our 1.25 inch inlet of our tank. As you can see, now it's nice and tight, 1.5 inch to 1.25 inch. Once again, it took a ton of research, but I'm here to save you that time. And as you can see, that's how the P-trap is gonna sit on our tank. This is our down pipe coming in. The water will go through, up into the tank itself. And we have a storage unit for all our shower water if we need to. Again, we can always pull this drain if it's winter time. The water will come straight out the bottom here instead of going in the tank, meaning we have no freezing issues to deal with during the winter months, and we can still shower. And one thing also to keep in mind, on these fittings that press in like this, that just slide into each other, you are gonna need some ABS cement, and all you're gonna do is take it, brush it around that edge, shove it on, and it's just gonna glue them together to ensure those joints aren't gonna leak either. So now all that's left for piping is installing a breather. This is so that as water comes into the tank, the air can escape, so you don't get that gurgling or that bubbling type sound, as well as releasing the pressure in the tank so it doesn't overexpand itself or throw the water back up into your shower drain. Now this tank does come pre-plumbed. You just gotta pull this cap out, and you'll see on the inside of the hole, it's already threaded for 3/8 thread, just like our drain was. So for this part, we have 2 of the 3/8 male adapters that'll thread into our tank. We have one 90-degree elbow, it's 3/8 thread as well, and a cap, which is 3/8 thread for the breathing element itself. Now for a breather cap, you can buy one, and that's the one I will link in the Amazon link below, but I thought for sure I'd be able to find one locally, which isn't the situation. So I'm just gonna make my own very simply. So let's take it over to the drill press, drill a few tiny little holes in it, doesn't need to be perfect, and boom, we now have a breather cap. So then we just assemble these pieces together. install it into the tank. And that's what our breathing element's gonna look like right there. So now, as the water fills, the air can escape upwards. This will be underneath the van, so there's no really worry of it getting directly drained on. And we're golden. And with all our fittings fit, we're now ready to put that framing on that we showed you at the beginning of the video. But before actually installing it, I'm gonna take this stuff, I'm gonna scuff it up, I'm gonna prime it, and I'm gonna paint it with the bed liner that we used on all the other black stuff. And the reason why we decided to paint these, well, there's actually two reasons. Reason number one is, well, look at it. Does that not just look minty fresh to you? Oh my goodness, is that ever wonderful. Especially when you see them on the tank like this, it looks super clean. I'm gonna say it looks pretty darn professional, my friends. Now, aside from just aesthetics, is for rust protection. Now, I did mention that these are galvanized steel, so they should not rust at all. But you never know, being down the salt flats, sitting at the ocean, there is potential that could rust. So we might as well add that extra layer of protection, just so we know we don't have to worry about it when we're on the road. Now, to finish bolting all this bracketing together, on the bottom of the mounts, because I don't want them to be able to push away or bend away from each other, I've taken some of this galvanized strapping, in which we've just drilled out the hole to be a little bit bigger on the top here, so it'll fit around our ready rod and push up across nice and tight. Then when we bolt this in and tighten them all down on both sides, you'll see the strapping will be on there and it won't be able to pull apart. It'll just kind of stop them from able to twist or bend or anything like that. And we'll do that for the front side and the back side of the tank on the bottom mounts. And then on the bottom of all four corners, I got these corner brackets, which are just gonna slide over top to finish it all off, giving the four corners on the bottom side that you can see a nice clean finished look. So now for the top side brackets, these top brackets don't require that strapping the same as the bottom part does. So you'll see we've double nutted it, so that way it can hold together tight and squeeze so this rod isn't gonna turn when we're tightening those bolts once it's in the van. But if we take this rail and we go to the van, you'll see that these rails are actually gonna bolt straight up to the frame and body of the van on both sides, which means they won't be able to pull away from each other. They're gonna be rigid mounted. But that's gonna be a project all in itself, my friends, that we'll talk about when we put the shower pan and drain and all that kind of stuff in on the next video. Because as for now, it looks like we've run out of time, my friends. So we're gonna call this another video in the books, another project in the banks. So if you've made it this far and you haven't subscribed or hit that bell yet, maybe consider doing so. No pressure, of course, you do you, but it is completely free and it really does mean the world to me. If you have subscribed, thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course, as always, we will see you on the next video. Oh, wait. At the beginning of the video, I talked about us hitting 1,000 subscribers. Wow, thank you guys. And what I'm thinking is that maybe we should do a live stream, an appreciation live stream for 1,000 subscribers. We can sit right here in the van. We can talk about upcoming projects. You guys can ask questions about past projects and just have a good old time live, face to face. What do you think about that? I'm thinking maybe an evening during the weekdays, or would you prefer on a weekend? What works best for you? Comment below. But that's it, my friends. We're out of time, like I said earlier. Now we can move forward to the end of the video. See you on the next one. Perfect.